This city shouldn't exist. It's built on mud, in a lagoon, with no bedrock beneath it at all. And right now, the machine holding back the sea is working harder than it ever has. 1,600 years ago, refugees fleeing invasion settled on a cluster of marshy islands nobody else wanted. To build anything solid, they drove over 10 million wooden piles straight down into the mud, tree trunks sharpened and hammered by hand. Submerged completely in oxygen-poor silt, the wood never rotted. Instead, minerals hardened around it until it turned almost to stone. An entire city, standing on an upside-down forest no one can see. On top of that foundation, Venice became one of the most powerful trading empires on Earth. Marble palaces, gold mosaics, a navy that controlled Mediterranean trade routes for centuries. Somehow, against every logical reason it shouldn't have worked, it held. For over 1,000 years, the impossible city thrived. Then, on November 4th, 1966, the sea reminded Venice exactly what it was built on. A tide of 194 centimeters submerged nearly the entire city. Homes, churches, centuries of art underwater. It remains the highest tide ever recorded there. That single night changed everything. It sparked an international preservation movement and the beginning of a decades-long question. How do you save a city that's sinking into the same water that made it rich? The answer took nearly 40 years to arrive. A project called MOSE, 78 massive steel gates, positioned at the 3 inlets where the sea meets the lagoon. It faced corruption scandals, budget disasters, and constant delays. Many believed it would never actually work. On October 3, 2020, for the first time in the city's history, the gates rose, and Venice stayed dry during a tide that should have flooded it. Here's how it actually works. The gates sit flat on the seafloor, invisible, until a high tide is predicted. Then, compressed air forces the water out of massive steel chambers, and the gates rise on hinges in under 30 minutes, sealing the lagoon off from the open sea. When the danger passes, they sink back down, invisible again. But the sea isn't slowing down. In 2023, the gates were raised 25 times. In 2024, 28. Then, in a single 23-day stretch in early 2026, they were raised 30 times, an activity level officials called absolutely exceptional. Each closure costs roughly 200,000 euros. One expert on the city's tide monitoring team put it plainly: in about 30 years, we may need to raise the barrier every single day. MOSE didn't solve Venice's problem. It bought the city time. Every gate that rises is proof the sea is still winning the argument, just more slowly than before. Venice isn't standing because the danger passed. It's standing because someone keeps holding the door shut, one tide at a time.